Hello everyone, it's Matt here, and once again, Brick Model Railroader have revealed the OcTRAINber contest. So I'm going to quickly go through the initial rules and actually announce which models I'm actually going to start doing. So OcTRAINber, generally speaking, for those of you who aren't aware, is a competition where the Brick Model Railroader team challenge people to create something which could be in real life, as in actual physical bricks, or in a digital format, such as Lego Digital Designer or Studio from Bricklink or LD Pub, or pretty much whatever you'd like to use as your Lego drawing sort of creation tool. Now, last year it was creating the longest vehicle, which I did a sort of 2 studs extra from the minimum tram. So not really long, but nevertheless, it met the requirements. It was something reasonably okay, met them in length. It was not tram, it looked good, and you could combine them together, etc., etc. But this year it's actually slightly different, and it actually works in my favour. Now, I say that with a little hint of what's to come. So we'll now look at the rules, and you can sort of see here's the news article here, and the challenge this year is the Foreign Challenge, and the goal Foreign Challenge is to promote outside the box thinking and change up people's build lists. In general, most builders tend to stick with what they know, which is often what is local to them. As such, not many people break that mould and build something that is not local to them. Hopefully all participants can appreciate building something out of their comfort zone. BMR is certainly excited about this challenge, and we hope to see many rise to the occasion. The rules. Foreign is defined as any locomotive, rolling stock, structure, or other railroad related item that is not designed or used in the native country of the builder. And it gives an example. So, being in the United States, I cannot enter legitimately with a United States locomotive such as the Santa Fe F7. I'm sure you get the point. Entries must be original models, no stealing, so you can't copy somebody else's and pass it off as your own. Pretty standard rules as far as I'm concerned with that one. We are making no rules for the scale you choose to model in. We are welcoming models of 6, 7 and 8 wides and anything between or beyond. However, we appreciate detail and accuracy. Reasonably sized models are usually better for that, but we don't knock anything or anyone with serious skill. So what that probably infers is that you could use the standard scale, which is 6, the one of the wide scale, which is 7 or 8, 10, or even beyond that. And you could also go narrow, so you could do narrow gauge. So if a track's say 4 wide instead of the 6 wide of Lego, and that sort of thing. So there is a considerable bit of leeway, and that sort of narrow gauge could actually help some people because you can make a smaller model. Requires less detail, less sort of detail, if you like, because you can make it small, so you don't have to use as many bricks, but it's a trade-off between different things. New builds only. We are willing to accept any unpublished or anything that was not published before September 1st, 2018 as new. We want to inspire and promote a challenging build. Entering an old model doesn't quite work in that regard, so it has to be pretty much just fresh for the competition. Entries must be made on a Flickr group in the appropriate thread. Real life entries in the real life thread and digital entries in the digital thread. This is the only place we will be looking for entries, nowhere else. Sending photos to us on social media or showing us in person do not count as entries, which, again, fair enough. You have to enter it via their preferred method. And lastly, we'll be accepting entries from midnight on October the 1st to midnight on November the 1st. The translation, you've got to do it within those times. We'll be accepting entries from, and it also says there is a possibility of a grace period to ensure that those that need that one final bricklink order have a fair chance. Entries and prices. We're allowing digital entries and real life builds, but what everyone is limited to one entry only to keep things fair. We have 3 prizes available. Top staff pick of real life entries, runner up real life entry, and top staff pick of the digital entries. We want to focus on and inspire some real building here. So this explains why more prizes are available for the real life entries. Prizes will be revealed in the upcoming article. Different from the previous year, we want to encourage you to show off your work in progresses this year as well, so to make OcTRAINtober really a month that is all about trains within the LEGO community. Therefore, extra credit will be given to the best work in progress stories and or pictures during the event. Specific information about WIP points will be mentioned in an upcoming article. We will pick the winners after we have announced the official close of the competition and subsequently selecting any new entries, which will be sometime after November the 1st. Once the judges have come to a sound conclusion regarding the winners, we'll post one final article announcing them and we'll be in contact with those winners regarding their prizes. Those will also be announced in an upcoming article. Thanks for reading, and now it's time to some building, and so forth. So the rules are reasonably lax. Essentially, it has to not be in your own country, and something new, which, to be honest, are not that restrictive. So I sort of said I'd be announcing the model I'd be doing, and it's actually one which I was considering doing anyway, but because of this competition I can actually bring that forward. So I'd like to introduce to you a New Haven, and I get this right here, this is a New Haven Y3 class 080 switcher. And this picture actually comes from Mike Robbins on Flickr. So I think he handles Alco Mike. It's not his photo, I should point out. He does have a disclaimer that it's, you know, fair use. And to be honest, this picture shows a lot of detail. It's obviously a New Haven yard, it's got a New Haven switcher. But there's just so much detail in this scene. It's a really nice photograph you have there. What looks like some form of office here. You can tell it's not a signal box because there's not enough windows. Or there might be a signal tower or switch tower. There's not, but a photo doesn't look like there's big enough windows or enough windows, in fact, to make it a signal tower, switch tower. It could, of course, be a modernised yard, so it could be electrical sensors and that sort of stuff. So, you know, could be something like that, or even a watch out tower, so it could be a lookout tower rather than an actual switch tower, or something like that, whatever, regardless. So here's the logo in question, obviously. Now this includes quite a nice variety of detail in this picture. Obviously you're not going to see everything, but this picture does convey a lot of the detail. You know, it's a fairly beefy machine. It's not massively long either. It's a fairly compact machine, obviously, because it's an 080. And I think it's going to be a reasonably easy loco to do. Obviously, there are a few things you need to be aware of when doing something like an 080. You've got, if you're trying to motorise, you've got to find somewhere to stick the motor, probably in the boiler or the firebox and that sort of thing, and have it drive down. You've got to try and fit the battery in somewhere, so probably the coal section. And you sort of see here it's actually narrowed at the top of the coal bit, so not as easy as it could be, but it is a fairly tall loco. I mean, you sort of see it's absolutely dwarfing that caboose there, so you do have a added benefit of height in that sort of respect. If I zoom in a little bit, you can actually sort of go, there we go, you can sort of see sort of some of the details. So we've obviously got the nice ladder here with a handrail that goes over, so it's part of the ladder and then it actually goes over and joins the tank top. We've got our hatch filler there, or hatch filler cap, and that's actually for the water tank, so you'd obviously take that off to fill it with water. We've got some handrails on the side there and another one on the tender there. We've got ones on the top of the coal. Now that's going to be a difficult one, because if you've got the battery in there as well, there's not going to be much in the way of movement and flexibility in terms of spacing to fit that handrail in. So I'm thinking, not guaranteeing, but thinking that this, the sides at least, will have to be snotted in. So you'd use like the 1x1 clips with a horizontal clip and put those on the corners maybe, and then just run flex tube through them to get that sort of handrail, and then just, you know, use tiles to tile it off and that sort of thing, you know, just to get that effect. But obviously there is a good amount of height here, so hopefully I can fit it in. I might have to change the length of it slightly to fit the battery in, but I think that'll generally be okay. I don't think BMR will take offence too much if that's the only negative to actually making a scale model. Obviously there is this sort of patch here. I don't think that's going to be easy to model without a sticker or something, so that's, you know, I'm just going to sort of flush side it. It does have a curved side here, so you can sort of see it actually curves like the wraparound body. So that, again, that's probably going to have to be snotted using the 1x1 and 1x4 curved bricks, so to get that nice angle. The step sort of section here, that's going to be interesting to try and model, because obviously you have a coupler right in the middle. So what I'm probably going to have to do is separate this sort of the sort of board and the steps and the coupler, and have those actually mounted on the rear truck of the tender. So have it flush sitting so there's not a gap, and then just have it so the whole assembly just swivels along with the tender. Obviously you can't see much of the loco, but you can sort of see it's a fairly wide, so obviously if this is 8 wide, the cylinders actually go out slightly further, so you can probably go to 9 wide for that. That's not too much of an issue. And obviously you got 2 domes and headlight at the back, headlight on the tender, and such forth. Interestingly, as a switcher, and some people may have already picked up on this, there's actually no marker lights. So there's places for marker lights on the tender, so there's one there and one there. I think that's what they're for, but there's actually nothing on the loco for marker lights, obviously, because you wouldn't generally speaking expect a switch to actually carry or pull a load, so it's just for yard work. So obviously so like headlights will do. There's also no tail lights either, so some locos actually had tail lights if they were sort of switchers, so obviously that's a benefit if you like, you don't have to model that sort of thing. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting little build. I was going to sort of say I'd do 2 and do the NE5 as well, but I think I'll leave the NE5 for another day and possibly another competition. That's going to be an interesting product of its own. So yeah, this is going to be it. It's the New Haven Y8, and it's going to be a real interesting time. So obviously I'll post a link to the image itself in the description, because it's a really nice image. I've currently got it in my desk around background at work. So yeah, so that's it for the OcTRAINber 2018 contest episode 1, sort of the intro. So I'm gonna obtain a load of images, because obviously images are the best resource for stuff like this, and possibly some drawings if I can, and then go to town. So yeah, that's it for episode 1, and see you in a work in progress video coming up real soon.